Oh, it's recording. Well, shit, yes. Alright, well, I have to apologize in advance for the kind of fuck-up-ish quality of this video. I didn't expect to be doing a video on this subject, but I think it's worth visiting. And also, I need to apologize for those fucking birds outside that are tweeting and whistling. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about guns. No shit, you say. This is not a gun channel or anything. So, what we are going to visit today is the subject of, is Century Arms worth it? And are you getting what you pay for in a Kalashnikov rifle from Century Arms? Yeah, that's basically all there is to say. So let's... Oh, damn. Putting dents in the already shitty kitchen table. So here we have the Century Arms AK-74 and the Century Arms Yugoslavian pattern M70B1 with the, obviously, solid stock. Everything on this rifle is stock, the way it came from the factory back in 2007, 2008. I got this just before the Obama election, and this one I got, oh, when did I get that? I think that was like 2010. I got this rifle, the AK-74. The only thing that's different about this rifle from the factory is the chrome-lined muzzle brake. The handguards are plumb Soviet handguards with the sheet metal liner. And of course, basically the whole stock set is aftermarket. This is a Bulgarian thing that's seen heavy rapage over the years. So let's take these apart. This rifle has had 8,000 rounds, just passed the 8,000 round mark this month. This rifle is inching up toward 12,000 rounds, and the point of all this is, let's examine over the course of the years and over the course of the thousands of rounds how these rifles have, I guess you say, matured, how they've fared in their use over time, and let's examine the wear and tear of both rifles, shall we? And I think I'm repeating myself multiple times. So I'm going to turn the fucking camera off, and then we're going to talk more about this shit, and we'll be right back once I have these rifles disassembled. Alright, so yes, I am filming this with a DSLR, so I do apologize again for the kind of sort of shitty video, so you can get a close-up of all this stuff. So this is the wear and tear on the bolt out of the AK-74, as you can see. Oh, and I just hit the other AK. So as you can see, a lot of wear going on the upper part of the carrier up here. It's a little bit not visible, at least not as well as it could be, because number one, because of the lighting, the kitchen light, and also because it's a little bit, I didn't bother to clean the oil off of it the last time I cleaned this. There's a little bit of marks going on the end of the piston here. You can see the striations from where the gas tube is pressed in right there. You can see the bottom of the bolt carrier is worn. Parts of it are almost to a mirror finish. The part where it contacts the trunnion is worn almost completely off from where the cam of the bolt carrier and the bolt interlock. This is very alarming. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the carrier, the tail here, is peening very badly. I don't know if that's because of the trigger, or the hammer, The hammer is a Tapco G2. It's not the standard Bulgarian trigger that came with the rifle. And yeah, as you can see, the trigger is worn almost to a mirror finish. Hopefully you can see that. The camera quality is kind of dog shit right now. And again, I apologize for that. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. So those are the guide rails for the carrier. As you can see, they're worn pretty well. And the ejector is worn a little bit. Again, this is 8,000 rounds through the pipe, so there's where the chamber is. The trunnion is worn very much right there. And the front of the barrel, sorry, again, trying to do the best I can. I'm not a professional photographer, so please don't, get all on my ass about this, but yeah, this is not a very good lighting, but the front of the chamber where the bolt rotates and locks into battery is very worn. Bullet guide's very worn. It's not loose. Luckily on this rifle, the riveting quality is very exceptional, so I'm very happy about that. Given that this is a Century Arms product. The receiver on this thing, I don't know who made the receiver, but this is a very high quality receiver, and oh my god, you can see the serial number. Holy shit. Even the rivets on the bottom of the mag well are all good, and of course the locking tab's worn to a mirror finish. Where the top cover contacts the top of the receiver is all worn. Try to give you a closer look at that chamber. It doesn't look like it's going to show up. No big deal, but that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Now let's look at the bolt. The bolt is the clearest indicator of the wear and tear on this rifle, so you can see, and the oil's blocking a lot of the wear, but that's worn almost to a mirror finish. And you can see this used to be totally flat black all around. That's worn very much. I don't know if that's normal, but the lug, the cam right here is peening. I have a video that if I can remember, or if I can find the link for it, I will point you out toward it, put it in the description, because this gentleman does a very excellent job of describing the possible reason for bolt carrier peening and why that happens. So, what's the summary of this rifle? Well, I'm not going to bash on Century Arms like some people have a habit of doing. I am going to say, however, that they are not the highest quality manufacturer of firearms as a whole. They're just, from what I've seen with a lot of their products, it's extremely low quality. It's basically, you can think of it as the McDonald's of arms manufacturing. It's not the highest quality, but it's extremely cheap. Therefore, people are going to continue to buy it. And that's why I bought both of these AKs, was that I was under the impression for the longest time that an AK was an AK, and that it wouldn't matter if I spent $400 on one or if I spent $1,000 on an Arsenal. An Arsenal back then was like a waste of money, and I got fucked really bad, because now 8,000 rounds later, the barrel axis is off on this rifle, and the video isn't going to do it justice. You're not going to be able to see it very well, so I'm going to put a picture in right here so you can see how off the barrel axis is. Now, of course, at first I thought it was an optical illusion. I thought, I was just retarded and was just seeing things, but as it turns out, the barrel is actually canted very badly. I don't know if it's something that worked loose. I have no idea. but it's affected the accuracy of the rifle. Here's a picture of the grouping that I shot just the other day with it. I was holding the sights right at the center of this target, and that's where the impact of the bullets turned out to occur. And this is sighted in at 100 yards too, so that's not normal for this rifle to be hitting like that. Alright, so now we're moving on to the Yugo M70. This is the original bolt that came with the rifle, and yes, I know it is extremely horrifically dirty. I haven't cleaned it like the last 3 times I've shot it, so just bear with me on that. But this is the original chrome bolt and bolt carrier that the rifle came with. And these are not really affected by wear. Of course, they are chromed, so yeah, it's extremely dirty. So therefore, the wear, or the possibility of wear, is extremely nil. The bottom of the bolt carrier is very polished, thanks to those 12,000 rounds. But we notice on the back of the carrier, the tail here isn't peening. It's not peening whatsoever. It's a little bit, just a little bit of a mushroom, just a little bit. It's rounded a little bit, but it's not nearly to the extent. I put it back in the rifle that we have with the AK-74, as you just saw. And the reason that it's theorized, look at my fingers. The reason we think that is this is the original hammer and trigger group that came with this rifle. It's the mil-spec Yugoslavian trigger group. And again, if you'll refer to the video in the description, the gentleman gives his reasoning as to why carrier peening happens or why it doesn't happen, and I think you will agree that the answer is most likely because of the hammer that comes with the rifle. But I'm not going to spoil it for you. You can watch the video yourself. I think I've blabbered enough about that. There's very little wear on any of these items on this rifle. However, because it is Century Arms and it is vastly inferior to its Arsenal counterparts, or DDI, whatever you want to call it. This rifle was made during the bad days of Century, the 2008 period of the Wasser 10, the notoriously horrible Wasser 10s. So let me walk you through the faults of this rifle. This gun has 3 loose rivets, here, here, and back here. The trunnion is starting to wobble loose, and this is 12,000 rounds, mind you. And also, one of the axis pins on the front sight, that one right there, is completely gone. It is completely gone. I found this out about, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And this is mainly the inspiration for this video, is the sheer lack of quality that Century Arms has to offer. Anyway, the point of this video is you get what you pay for in firearms. And I think I've demonstrated that very well. The rivets are very poor on this AK, again because it's a 2008-09 era AK for Century Arms. And this one's, the barrel is off, and the barrel on the inside, I haven't showed you, I can't show you, but the barrel is extremely frosty, and that's after cleaning it every single time. So, you get what you pay for when buying an AK. Do yourself a monstrous favor, a substantial favor. Buy a high quality rifle. Do not buy a Kalashnikov or any other type of rifle just because it's cheap. Because more than likely, it's just going to fuck up later on and you're going to hate yourself, kind of like I do right now, because your rifles are falling apart. And this is going to need repaired. This is going to need repaired immediately. Honestly, I'm thinking about just pawning off both of these rifles and getting an arsenal, which I should have done a long time ago, but I didn't because I just didn't have the money. What am I even fucking talking about anymore? Oh yeah, in summary, that's what you get with Century Arms. 8,000 rounds later, the barrel is tweaked, and 12,000 rounds later, we have 3 loose rivets, a loose trunnion, and a missing front sight axis pin. The rivets are completely fucked on this, and each time I pull the trigger, you get trigger slap, which of course is not a problem with the Tapco G2, but then you get carrier peening. So that's it. Thank you guys for putting up with my extremely incoherent speech. I felt I had to make this video because of my experiences with Century Arms and the quality thereof and what you should be aware of when you are buying Century fucking Arms. Thank you. I'm going now. Later.